You're not arguing about the dishes. You're not arguing about the text message. And I'd say you're probably not arguing about who did what. That's just the excuse your nervous system picked up today. And the thing is, the real fight is always the same. Do you see me? Do you respect me? Can I trust you? Am I safe with you? And here's the thing. Most couples can't fix it because they're trying to communicate before they've clarified what they actually need. So they keep having the same fight over and over again in different outfits. So, if you've ever thought, why do we keep coming back to this? You're not crazy. You're definitely not broken. You're just in a loop. So today I'm going to break down the 3 reasons the loop happens. And I'll show you what to look for before it turns into another blow up. Because here's what I see all the time. The topic changes, but the emotional ending stays the same. And that is one of you feels unheard, the other feels attacked, someone shuts down or gets sharp, and then you both walk away thinking, how did we end up here again? And that becomes a pattern. So let's dive in, yeah? You ready? Good. Number 1, you're not arguing from 2 different opinions. You're often arguing from 2 different communication styles. Okay. This is where most, I'm saying most, men and women can completely miss each other. Not because one's wrong, but it's just that the communication styles are optimized for different things, right? One style is, what's the point? What's the problem that needs to be fixed? Let's solve it. The other style is, can you understand me while we talk about it? Can you stay connected to me while we work it out together? So one person is thinking, why are we still talking about this? And the other's thinking, why do you keep skipping over how I feel? And then you know what? The misunderstanding isn't just frustrating, it becomes personal. It's like you're saying, you don't care about me or you're too much. And then pretty soon you're not even arguing about the original thing. Yeah? Well, let me give you an example because I'm sure some of this can relate to you guys. You might be in a situation where one person says, you never help around the house. But what they might actually mean underneath is, I need support, I feel alone, and I want to feel like we're a team. But what's happening in this space is the other person is hearing, you're failing, you're lazy, you're not good enough, and I don't appreciate what you do around the house. So instead of looking at the real need, they defend their identity and their value. And the thing is, the moment someone is defending their identity, the conversation's basically over. It's done. It's done. And don't get me wrong, right? It's not all men and all women. It can swap depending on the person. The point of it is, if you don't understand the communication mismatch, you keep taking each other personally, and then you'll keep replaying the same fight over and over and over again. Which brings me to number 2. Number 2, you're speaking from a place of defense rather than clarity. Defense feels protective, but it absolutely kills connection. And what do I mean by defense? Defense can sound like blame, shutting down, sarcasm, saying things like, I'm fine when I'm not really fine. It can be silent treatment. It can be over explaining, even walking away, right? Just ignoring it. And here's the brutal part. Defense can feel justified, can absolutely feel justified. Like, well, if you didn't come at me like that, I wouldn't react like this. Yeah. But if you wait until you're in defensive mode to speak, you're already starting from the back foot. You're already starting from a place that's reactive. Because what you're actually communicating in that moment isn't the need, it's the threat. And your partner can only respond to the threat. They can't hear that need underneath. Let me ask you something, right? Because I reckon some of this might resonate. So let me ask you a question and tell me where you go in this space. When you're in the middle of a fight, are you trying to be understood or are you trying to be right? Because being right is a great way to win a point, but it's also a great way to lose connection. Because you can't resolve a need while you're busy protecting your ego. So let me give you another example. Let's say you're in a situation where one person says, you always prioritize your friends over me. But underneath that need, it might actually be, a really pure need that is, I need to feel chosen. I need to feel a priority, to feel that I'm a priority. But it comes out as, you're selfish. You always choose your friends over me. And then the other person goes into this loop of, well, here we go again. You're trying to control me. And now the entire conversation becomes about defending your character rather than, discussing a need. And then we hit the third reason. And this is a big one. This is a really big reason why the loop keeps looping back again and again and again. So, number 3, you're treating boundary signals like emergencies. And this one is huge because most people were never taught how boundaries actually work. Because boundaries are signals, they're not walls, they're information, they're early warning lights. But most people don't speak at the early stage. They don't speak when they're triggered or reach, like a soft boundary. They wait. They tolerate. They overgive. They hope that the other person just magically notices until they hit that hard boundary mode. And when you're in hard boundary mode, you're usually flooded, right? Your nervous system is activated. You're not calm, you're not articulate, you're reactive or you're shut down. So your boundary comes out like a grenade. And then your partner reacts to the delivery. And the original need never gets named. So the loop resets. And, maybe you've experienced this example. Let's say you've been feeling ignored for weeks. And you've had little moments where you felt it, you've noticed it, you might have pushed it down, put up with it. And then one day they interrupt you or they forget something that you've asked for, or they speak sharply at you. And then all of a sudden you snap. And they're not hearing, I've been feeling disconnected for a while now. They're hearing, you're attacking me out of nowhere. And they defend themselves. And then you feel more alone, and the loop goes on and lives yet another day. So if you want to break the loop, you don't start from a place that's reactive. You start with clarity. You need to know what you're actually dealing with, right? For example, is this a need that keeps going unmet? Is it a want that you're treating like a need? Is it a boundary signal you've ignored until it's exploded? Or is this a deal breaker that's creeping in that you've been avoiding? And if you don't know what bucket it's in, you'll keep arguing in circles because you're trying to solve the wrong problem. And the other thing is, if communication styles are a big part of your repeat loops, your repeat patterns, I've got a free foundation guide called The Train Driver and the Bee. Yes, I know it's an unusual name, but stick with me on this one. And what it does is it explains why men and women often communicate so differently. It talks about the biological basis behind those styles and the most common breakdown patterns that keep, couples stuck in this loop. It's not a how-to guide, it's the missing why. So you can stop taking each other personally and start understanding what's actually happening. And I'll chuck that link down below. And if you're new here, go to my Start Here page so you can take the right pathway and see all of the resources that are available for you. And that's the fastest way to get out of the cycle and into clarity. So if this hit home, don't just sit with it. Take one next step, because I've put the links and the free guide right here below if you really want to start changing the loop. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye.